Welcome back to Grogu Gaga. I'm here with Chip today, and we don't have anything in mind to talk about today. So we're going to save the Visions discussion for next week when we get Cam back, and we're going to talk about our thoughts about that. But today we're just going to talk about various things that are coming up in the Star Wars universe. We're going to talk about Obi-Wan and Mandalorian, Book of Boba Fett, and just whatever comes in our brain. And y'all are welcome to join along for the ride. It should be a wild ride. It takes us all over the place. But today we're just going to talk about Kenobi and the fact that Kenobi is officially finished filming, which is very, very exciting. Ewan officially said he shaved. So that's the first thing that we know that is finished filming. However, of course, we know in Attack of the Clones, he had that infamous fake beard scene. And the scene when he's saying this weapon is your life or whatever, and that's a reshoot. So he has this awful wispy beard. So hopefully we won't have that happen again. But I think it's safe to say that he's finished filming for sure. But I don't know. It's just really exciting to have Star Wars, like knowing that Obi-Wan and Anakin and probably way more familiar characters have come together and or actually it's done. It's out there in the universe somewhere, and that it will be seen hopefully soon. Hopefully, I'm hoping it'll be the next show after Boba Fett. What are your thoughts about that? I know you're excited as a prequel fan.
Oh, super excited. Kenobi, he's everybody's favorite, I think, from the prequels. I think, like, unless you're, like, I don't know, Obi-Wan Kenobi, Ewan McGregor's Obi-Wan Kenobi, I think, is without a doubt the best part of the prequels. And I love the prequels, but it's so iconic. And then branching the two, I can't wait to see how that works. Because it's exactly in the middle. It's 10 years, right?
Yeah, it's exactly 10 years. And also we know that in the a book that came out recently, they said Qui-Gon didn't learn to manifest physically until 10 years after Revenge of the Sith, which is very coincidental, if you ask me.
That is super cool. So I guess they retconned the old book where he...
Yeah, well, I'm not sure when that happened in the old... I know, and from a certain point of view, he did finally manifest physically, I believe. But yeah, I think that the fact that it's exactly 10 years after Revenge of the Sith when this story takes place and when he was able to manifest, I think that's a pretty major hint that Qui-Gon's going to return.
Right, and I think either way, those stories were kind of canon adjacent, so they're not like set in stone. But I'm excited about... I'm sure they have to have Qui-Gon for a Kenobi prequel series. Like you said, in the 10 years hook, line, and sinker there. It's got to be something going on with Qui-Gon. So I'd love to... I think he looks great still too to be able to...
I was actually just thinking that yesterday. I was watching The Phantom Menace again, and just thinking how little he's aged. Like it would be very easy for them to, put a little makeup or a little slight de-aging thing on him and look exactly the same.
I was going to say, watched Love Actually, and that was 2003, I think. And looking back from him now, he was clean shaven in that movie, and then him clean shaven now, it's definitely doable. He's aged very well,
and he's he's late 60s maybe.
Late 60s.
He's getting up there. I mean, he's gonna look good, and I think he will be in the show. I don't see any way that he couldn't be in the show because they brought him back for Rise of Skywalker as a voice. They brought him back for Clone Wars. He wants to do it.
Liam Neeson likes Star Wars.
Yeah, he likes The Phantom Menace. There's an article that came out recently. He's like, I'm quite fond of that one. Like he's proud of it. Good. I know a lot of people didn't like it, but
God knows how many fathoms.
But I liked it.
To go to wrench these cattle. But no, that's really cool. I would love to just jam all the prequel actors in there that you can.
Absolutely. I mean,
unless you're Sean, say no Samuel.
Yeah, that's true. You could bring him back in a flashback. That's perfectly fine. I have my opinions about bringing back people in Star Wars. There's only, I guess, honestly, 3 people I would feel okay with bringing back, and 2 of them have already happened. And that's Darth Maul and Palpatine. And again, you could say Palpatine could have been done better, but despite that, he was as good as ever, if not better than ever. I mean, he was more frightening in that movie than in any of the other ones. So and we know that they're going to explore the reasoning in the new shows coming up. I think it's going to be explained. But
you're already seeing tie-ins in both
Bad
Batch and Mando.
Mm-hmm. It's it's happening. So, but and then the third would be Ben Solo for me, my favorite of the sequels and top 5 of.
Well, Sean, no one's ever really gone.
Exactly, and that's just going to be the episode 10 trailer. It's going to be the exact same thing with Mark Hamill saying the exact same thing, and then Ben at the end saying more, more, more.
Yeah. And actually, speaking of it, shout out, Mark Hamill's birthday was a few days ago.
Yep, it turned the big 7-0.
Oh man, that's so.
Yeah, he's my dad's age, just a little bit younger. My dad's birthday is in October, and so he's about the exact same age, but he looks great. My dad looks great, but no, Mark Hamill looks great. So
that full head of hair he has still. Oof.
Yeah, he does, and he's
both of them.
It's true. My dad does too.
But so yeah, that's cool. So happy birthday, Mark. And that brings up questions for an episode 10, man. How are they?
Well, there's rumors all the time, and you never know how accurate these are. But there was a rumor that either a sequel trilogy is being considered, or that it's a Ben Solo trilogy being considered. I don't think there's any merit to it, but I also don't think it's out of the realm of possibility. I think episode 10 will happen at some point, because there's something about going to the movie theater and seeing A Long Time Ago in a Galaxy Far, Far Away with the Star Wars fanfare hitting, and seeing the crawl and seeing, characters from, those familiar characters from that saga. And, I would say John Williams music, but I think by that time we might not have him, but we'll still have all the themes that he's created. And I think it's a little bit unique experience, more unique than.
And I'll say the music of Star Wars currently, they are not so much going the John Williams direction in a lot of these shows and a lot of these other Disney creations. But we can see that there are John Williams inspired in the Disney Rogue One, Michael Giacchino.
Exactly.
It sounded very John Williamsy, just different enough to where it was its own thing, like Krennic's theme and everything.
The theme, I don't know the name of the theme, but the theme when Tarkin's looking at the Death Star when he's first introduced I love that theme.
Yeah. Yeah, and I forgot what that's called, but it's Imperial something. So it's, obviously supposed to be, and it's supposed to, I think it's Krennic's theme, so it fits him being a little more bombastic, like just a bureaucrat, not an actual like an evil person. But we've seen that. So John Williams will create new themes, but he's so solidified that there is a John Williams sound that I think people can.
Yeah, and so I think they will kind of save that for if and when they do the sequel trilogy, whatever they call that.
That reminds me of the Whitest Kids You Know sketch, where it's just him. And it's how John Williams creates music, and it's just a day in the life of John Williams falling around his house. He's like bum 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 bum, and it's perfect. That's it's so iconic. But
R.I.P. to him too.
Oh yeah, Trevor.
Yeah. I was curious. Also, I was looking at I don't know what made me think of it. I googled what's John Williams' favorite Star Wars movie. And he said he doesn't watch them. He hadn't seen any of them after working on it.
That's how you know you're like the man.
Yeah.
Like you don't even like, because I still, if I have a song recorded, I go back and listen to it and smile. Can you imagine just like being like, oh, here you go.
He works so much and has done so many things, and to him, Star Wars is, when he first did it, it was like it was his job. I mean, like he didn't have that connection to it like we do. But I think he appreciates the films, but. It doesn't surprise me. I don't think Adam Driver doesn't go back and watch his movies. A lot of people don't do that. A lot of artists don't do that. So I typically don't do that, but I will. But I will go back. I can't say I've never gone back and listened to a song of mine. Like,
so are you armchair psychologist? I am a huge narcissist. I
That's it. John Williams is just the most humble person in the world, and this co-host over here. Well, I am too, apparently, because I do go back and listen to it, and I'm like, yeah, I like that.
It's mostly
to
criticize.
I hate that.
I go back. I'm like, why did I do that there?
Yeah,
but
and that's also why a lot of actors and musicians don't go back to their work, because they can't see it from the outside. They can only see the flaws and see it from what they could have done better. Which I can relate to that. But but he's
92.
Is he 92? I know he's 90 something. Yeah.
James Earl Jones 90.
That's crazy. I wonder. Well, we know he'll be in Kenobi. I mean, right?
I would assume his voice is going to be the voice of Darth.
I mean, he's getting up there, but
they just need to go and record all his lines where he could possibly like Stan Lee, like the Stan Lee cameos. Just go ahead and get as much James Earl Jones dialogue. Just have him read like the newspaper, and then be able to stitch together different lines. Just do the Darth Vader voice reading the newspaper.
Did we talk about the Mandalorian season 2 gallery?
We have.
Did we?
Did we? I think we did, but we can touch on it. It wasn't.
Did we? Honestly, it's bad. I don't even remember. I don't know if we did. Sorry, guys.
It was super interesting.
Either way, I wanted to bring up the fact that Mark Hamill's voice was completely synthetic, digitized from recordings, which is and then there's actually a program called Lyra something, and you can
Lyra Urso.
Lyra, and you can go back and put your own voice. Like you say all these lines, and then you can recreate your own voice synthetically. It's not as well done as like the Mandalorian version, but that is what they did. They just took like various pieces of archival audio and took just a ton of it and was able to recreate it. And I knew something was up because working with sound, I knew there's one line where you can hear a little bit of roboticness.
Sure.
But he will not. I forgot which line it was when he said, "But he will not be safe to. He will not be." I don't remember. It was one of those lines, but I could hear something, so I wasn't sure what it was. I thought Mark Hamill had done it, but they had like adjusted it and like
you can hear it sometimes.
It
Ends up sounding just a tad bit like the Kesha auto tune.
Yeah. But it's not like it's not jarring. Like and
no, because the voice was better than the face.
Yeah, because honestly, I thought like that was just Mark Hamill's voice, and they just tweaked it.
Yeah,
I thought that was the extent of it. I didn't realize when I first saw it. I didn't realize that he was actually on set until later, and I rewatched it, and I was like, yeah, that's probably him.
It's amazing the things they can do with technology and in movies these days. It's a miracle.
Yeah,
it's amazing how we were just before we started recording talking about Rogue One. It's amazing what technology, like the recreations of the faces were amazing to me. A lot of people say they're jarring on Uncanny Valley, which I can see. But
the thing is, like, I showed Rogue One to both my sisters and my dad, and didn't mention anything until after I was like, "Did you realize there was a dead guy in the film?" And they're like, "No, what are you talking about?" It's like, yeah, I was like, Tarkin was digitally recreated, and they had no idea because they weren't looking for it.
Right.
I think if you're not looking for something, and same with Paige when Mark Hamill showed up, or
how did they read?
When Liz showed up, deep fake, she didn't. She's like, "What?" I was like, because she could hear we watched it together. She could hear a slight disappointment when they revealed his hood because I really wanted it to be Sebastian Stan just because I don't know. I had my preconceived ideas, but and I knew that like because when he put it down, I was like, oh, it's a little off.
Yeah,
and
I wonder what the Vegas bets are on Sebastian Stan actually becoming young Luke.
I just don't know. I mean, I feel like in retrospect, I'm glad they got Mark Hamill to do it because I think it made him happy and it made the fans happy, and so like if that's his last hurrah, like that's a good way to go out.
It is.
So I think they
very triumphant. Very
yeah. So I think they could go and get somebody new. But whether it's him, honestly, the guy who did it, the actual
fighting
and everything, he looked similar to Mark Hamill. Like I could suspend my disbelief a little bit. But you Yeah, exactly.
No, but that's the thing about Star Wars fans. We're pretty good at that. Some of us are pretty good at that. But I really do enjoy seeing the things that they're doing. It's kind of cool they're using all this cutting edge technology in a show about technology.
Yeah,
I mean it makes sense.
Yeah. It's I mean there's so much potential in the future, and it is kind of. It makes you wonder, like, how far they can go with. I think we'll get to the point where actors will have to sign away their rights,
right,
or not. They can and there's gonna be plenty who don't do that, and there's gonna be some who do, after they die,
right.
But it makes you wonder, like, how far they can go, and like, who's doing the acting. It's like the thing about Tarkin is like the guy who did the acting. I feel like he's not getting enough credit in Rogue One.
Sure.
He's the actor. I mean, he played Tarkin just because his face was on it. He was
Voldemort's Minister of Magic in Harry Potter, the last few.
Yeah.
What's his name? Guy.
The actor, Guy something. Yeah.
He did a really good job, and he did that voice completely. Right?
Yeah. And it was his body and everything. So, and I just don't. It's things like that where it's like he doesn't get enough credit for it because he was the actor. He was Tarkin.
But literally, it was Peter Cushing.
Yeah, it was his face.
Amazing.
And he like nailed Tarkin down. So I don't know where we're gonna go with that, but to bring it back around with Vader, I know everybody says they should just record like him reading the dictionary,
right?
And they could, and it wouldn't surprise me if they have like a data bank of like a ton of stuff already. But
for Battlefront 2, the game, they already did the face masking.
Oh, did they?
So they have the actors' faces on deck.
Oh wow.
So we'll see where that goes.
Yeah.
But yeah, so going back to Kenobi, definitely I think way back around to Kenobi. I think we're gonna get some OT, some PT actors coming back.
James Earl Jones, I think he will do it. I mean, Vader's in the show. Anakin's in the show. Anakin's not gonna voice Vader.
Right.
He'll be him underneath the hood or the mask and maybe behind the mask. But it's gonna, if it's not James Earl Jones, I think I'd be very surprised. The guy who did Vader Immortal, I thought was pretty good.
Was that a different actor?
Yeah.
Okay, it's much better than Battlefront.
Chad Vader. Yeah,
Chad
that's
Vader.
the Chad Vader.
Yeah,
I think. Whoever is the Force Unleashed is not my favorite. It just doesn't sound like Vader to me. But
right.
No offense, guy. You got the job.
Which is so funny because D. Bradley Baker is also voices Boba Fett, and he sounds like Boba Fett in the Force
more
Unleashed.
like Boba Fett than he does as the clones, which is funny to me.
That is funny.
But I heard that he had a hard time doing the accent, and so they just said, just do you, which is definitely not a Kiwi accent. It's an over the top Australian accent, but that's okay.
I don't know what to call it, but yeah,
he's a good voice actor. I know we hate on him.
Oh no, he does
unintentionally, but no, he's great.
If you look at his filmography, it is the most extensive thing in voice acting.
Oh yeah,
especially he does a lot of like minion roles too, like a lot of just like grunts and stuff.
Side, yeah.
And
he does the scenes like with all 5 of the members of the Bad Batch like consecutively.
He's shooting back and forth,
and he doesn't like stop and do each part, which I couldn't do that. It'd be very hard
because they are all subtly different.
He's very talented. But yeah. So yeah, I think
we can talk about D. Bradley Baker, not him specifically, but the Kenobi series. What do you think about clones coming back? Like they already have Tamir Morrison right there.
Yeah,
let's get Cody. Let's get Rex. Come on, let's do it.
If they can get him for Visions for Tatooine Rhapsody, like I'm sure he's got to be having a field day right now. He's doing everything. He's getting.
Well, right now he's in his Polynesian spa.
Yeah, because he's got the money to go to a nice spa.
Trying something new.
Try something new.
But that's cool. So I'm glad for Tamura. He also another person I think who appreciates Star Wars.
Oh yeah, and for some reason I always assumed like he didn't want anything to do with Star Wars because he never came back until Battlefront. Then like was he in Battlefront like the new ones?
Yes,
because I don't play the games. So
yes,
there's like a gap, and I guess it's just because of like. And because he wasn't in the Force Unleashed and stuff like that, and he wasn't in Clone Wars, I was just figured like
it is a little jarring though in the Battlefront games because he voices Boba Fett only, but D. Bradley Baker voices the clone still. So I'm like, not clear. I'm like,
very strange.
But that I like that though as a Clone Wars fan.
Yeah, it's fun. It's funny, and it's that Star Wars is that kind of thing. It's like you can have Ewan McGregor as a Force voice, and then. Alec Guinness has a Force voice in Rise of Skywalker, and you just kind of accept it.
You do accept it, and you get also James Arnold Taylor.
Ray.
Ray.
This is our
Liverpool
Obi-Wan.
I don't know why we always go that, but I think since like episode 1, that's been our.
It's just natural, yeah.
These are your last steps.
Rise and take them.
Strawberry fields.
Take some LSD, Ray.
Detox the Ray. Nobody.
Shout out to Walk Hard, Dewey Cox story. Great movie if you like mockumentaries.
The birds can now love the Coliseum.
We're considering doing a movie podcast at some point. We want to do it all. But maybe we'll just consolidate it here. But
because this has become the Potpourri podcast.
Yeah. So, anyways, back to Obi-Wan. Yeah, I think we know Vader will show up, and hopefully with James Earl Jones. But I mean, I'm so excited to see Obi-Wan. But like, I think I'm gonna freak out when I see Hayden. Like, I think that's gonna be because like it was just so like we didn't know he was coming back for a long time. Until last year.
I didn't know he was alive for a long time.
Yeah, he was on a farm. I mean, he was living the Obi-Wan life.
Yeah, exactly. No, literally, he should translate very well into this. He should totally get the concept of this.
They should just switch parts and let Anakin play Obi-Wan.
Anakin play the farmer.
Yeah.
The moisture farmer.
Yeah.
So he's actually not coming back as Anakin. He's coming back as the moisture farmer, just like in one scene.
Yeah. Disney.
Like, that was actually him at the end of Rise of Skywalker.
Yeah.
It's like, who are you?
The old lady.
Who are you?
Yeah, they put a lot of makeup on him.
But that's very exciting. Kenobi coming out, and there's no telling where it's going to go. We're going to get some Disney originals, apparently, with people coming out like the fifth brother too.
Yeah, I was going to say the actor who keeps letting things slip.
Man.
And there's always one.
There's something about Asian actors too.
It's true.
Jiang Wei, I think that's his name.
Yeah, he talked about his death with the big gun.
Yeah, with the big gun.
And I just remember seeing the panel, and they were like looking over at him like don't. And then he didn't do any more press after that, I believe.
Just cut him off.
Like you can't do that. I mean, that is kind of a big spoiler. I mean, it is, but it isn't. Like, we kind of assume a lot of them would die, but it's funny that's
what I never thought of actors in other cultures, how they view spoilers. Like, I've never thought about it, but maybe it's just not as important as Western audiences.
Honestly, don't know, but it is funny. And then, but this actor who what's his name, Sung something.
Jiang Wei. Are you're talking about the fifth brother?
If he's the fifth brother.
If he's the fifth brother, which
he's
a lot of leaks are saying.
I think he's an Inquisitor for sure.
He definitely has a lightsaber.
Doesn't look like the fifth brother. I think he should be a new one.
A new one.
I hope. I just don't see any. I mean, I guess they could do it up, but I would rather. We still have a few left that we haven't even seen, and and we don't even technically know how many there are, right? We know how many there have been alluded to, which is 9, right?
They number them, up to the ninth brother, ninth sister.
So there could be more, but
we've only met 5 or 6.
Yeah, something like that. So we still have 2 or 3 more. So I'd rather it be a new one.
He doesn't seem big enough to be the big brother. The
big
brother is watching you. No, the fifth brother. He doesn't seem beefy enough, because that dude is like, he's an alien for one thing.
Yeah, and I think it's just if I had to guess, I would say it's just a mistake, or like they just saw something on set and misunderstood, and that's what got out. But I could be wrong. It could be him. But honestly, I didn't care for him and Sarah Michelle Gellar, Inquisitor, either. Like, they were just Team Rocket.
Yeah, you're blasting off. Yeah,
like not unlike Jason Isaacs, the Grand Inquisitor, which is like they killed him off too early, I think. But
he's a very compelling character.
He could show up, right? Timeline.
Yes.
Yeah, he could.
He definitely could.
That would be cool.
Dude, do Jason Isaacs. Make sure you make it Jason Isaacs.
Oh, yeah. No,
you love Jason Isaacs. He's my favorite villain actor, I think, of all time.
He's in the Patriot, right?
That's one of my.
He's so.
I rewatched Patriot recently, and I was like, okay, this is actually not good.
Yeah.
But man, growing up, he was my favorite villain. But Tavington, and he was also Lucius Malfoy, and so he's a good villain actor. I
would love for him to come back. I mean, there's a lot of potential for the show. I mean, I know people don't want it just to be a cameo fest, but I don't know. I feel like this show this is a show that you can get away with that, and you should get away with that, because this is arguably the most anticipated Star Wars thing after The Force Awakens. When The Force Awakens came out, obviously that was like the biggest deal. But
yep. So you can get your big mainline cameos here in Kenobi, and then like in Book of Boba Fett, you can get your criminal underworld bounty hunter cameos. So we got some cameo potential coming up, which I love.
Yeah.
But Book of Boba Fett, I wonder, because I know that's coming out in December, right?
December, Christmas.
Oh man.
But not Christmas Day. It just means like the trailers.
Blockbuster season, Christmas season.
They always say this Christmas, and it could be like the 19th or whatever. But yeah,
it's actually January the 5th. It's weird.
Man,
it's the Epiphany.
This Epiphany. The show would be has the potential to run from December to February, and then if the timeline works out with 8 episodes, and it's like near the end of the month, and then they can go right into Kenobi in March. I really think Kenobi's going to come out first, because Andor just finished, and it relied a lot more on practical effects, and there's 12 episodes, and like I think Lucasfilm's going to want to put something out like Kenobi to really. There hasn't been anything like with all the Marvel shows. Yeah, I feel like Marvel's getting a lot of big stuff like Loki and like that kind of stuff that people really get into. Like,
yeah, let's say a little off tangent. It's some of these things, man. I'm glad that it's both this applies to Star Wars and Marvel. These shows that we're getting offer so much more like diversity, but they also are able to tie into the main movies and stuff, which is great. I just hope that they keep going with that track where everything kind of ties in, because the amount of money they're pouring into these shows, it's amazing.
We know Marvel's going to keep doing that, and they've been doing that since the first Iron Man. But yeah, I think Star Wars is doing that, and I think that's the logical way to go. I've even heard in Obi-Wan there's like some sequel references, and they're like some Twitter guy. You never know with these things. I'm just saying what I heard. And he was like, yeah, you know, if you don't like the sequels, you better prepare yourself, because there's going to be something there.
That's nuts, because the sequels had literally 2 prequel references.
Yeah.
Darth Sidious and the clones.
Clone Army, which is technically could be a
clone. Yeah, that was
that could be a reference to A New Hope, as far as there's one, but you forget Rise of Skywalker had all the prequel Jedi.
Oh yeah. I forgot about the Rise of Skywalker for a second.
But yeah, and there's a B1 battle droid in the background. Yeah, not enough, but yeah, the point stands. There could be more, but I think but either way, it's gonna be great for prequel and original trilogy fans. I know,
unite the fan base finally.
Bring it. Yeah, I think if you bring in all the trilogies, that's what I like about that Vader comic that's out with Ochi and all that.
Yes,
is that they bring in like the prequel elements with Sly Moore, and then they brought in Kira from Solo, and they brought in Ochi from the sequels, and this is all during the original trilogy. I like that, and I think that's the direction Star Wars needs to go, just to make it feel
cohesive.
Yeah, cohesive and not divisive. Like if I mean, there's always going to be people who don't like the sequels, going to be people who don't like the prequels, but it's all part of the universe. So just run with it, and like what you like. Like Star Wars, Star Wars Theory, the YouTuber, was like, why do they have to touch the sequels? Like, why do they even have to do that? I'm like, well, a lot of people like them. First of all, I mean, it's not like
half the fan base.
Yeah, he's like, well, just do a trilogy after. Just don't touch anything before Episode 7. Yeah. Like, well, okay, good for you, but like, that's not, it's whatever. But like, I mean, it's gonna happen, so they just need to accept it. Like,
put on your big boy pants, guys. Come on.
And there's things I don't like about different parts of Star Wars and everything.
There are things about the original that I don't like. There are things about the prequels I really don't like. I mean, you know what I mean? Like Attack of the Clones, I like about half of that movie. So you know what I mean? But I still love it. And we were just talking before we started recording. I like the sequel trilogy. It is a Star Wars trilogy. I like it. It has flaws. It's my least favorite.
I think it's the most flawed trilogy, and I can say that even liking it. I guess, but then people could say that about the prequels too. I mean, it's just, I don't know. But either way, we're getting next week or probably the next time we do a podcast, we're going to talk about our favorite scenes from each movie to, try to keep some positivity going and keep it lighthearted. But we're going to, because we did our Star Wars ranking list a couple months ago, and they were similar in some places and completely different in others.
Right.
Like Cam putting Revenge of the Sith pretty low. We were both like, whoa.
Yeah, that was a little. I was like, whoa, but hey, he had good logic and reasoning behind it, but he also wasn't negative.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you can, and he liked A New Hope was higher, and A New Hope is higher for you, but it's a lot lower for me. Which is, again, it's like, it's always controversial opinions, but like, it really shouldn't matter at the end of the day. But I mean, that's how Star Wars fans have always been.
I was about to say, even us, like we were just talking about Sean's least favorite is Rogue One. That's my favorite. That's it, but we can't argue with still loving Star Wars. Like I still really like The Last Jedi and The Rise of Skywalker, even though I consider them my least favorite.
Yeah. Well, this is the thing with Star Wars, is like my least favorite is still better. I would still watch it any day over a lot of movies. And as long as we can say it respectfully, and Chip has a connection to Rogue One that I didn't have because he read Catalyst, the book. So it's always little things, and your opinions can change too. I mean, when Last Jedi came out, I hated it, Now I just look at the good and just ignore what I don't like. I mean, that's
and edit out the rest.
Exactly. Cut out a good 30 minutes of it. Yeah. So going back to Obi-Wan, fan service. This is okay. This is a show to do it.
Yeah.
Just do it. Like, I think you can do fan service and make it fit the story. I think season 2 of Mandalorian did that very well. Personally, I think every cameo made sense.
It fit the plot.
It fit the plot. Every one. I mean, Bo-Katan.
It actually not only did it fit the plot, but it made the most sense to have these characters.
Yeah. Like Bo-Katan being a Mandalorian and then knowing Ahsoka and then reaching out to Ahsoka and Ahsoka saying maybe a Jedi will reach Grogu because he has the Force, and then bring in Luke and of course Boba Fett because you know.
Well, because it's Boba Fett. No,
and I guess he's a Mandalorian now.
He is, finally.
Yeah. So
all mech.
Yeah. So yeah, I think you can do it, and I think they can do that with Kenobi. I don't know where they're going with it. I know there's rumors that it involves like something with Leia, child Leia, 10-year-old Leia, being maybe like kidnapped or something. Not really sure what, but that's apparently the catalyst. The catalyst for him leaving Tatooine or whatever happens. Technically, we don't even know if he'll leave Tatooine. He could do another Force projection thing. Oh, there's the sequel reference.
There you go. It's a Force projection. He doesn't die though.
No, he can handle it.
He can handle it because he's Chad Obi-Wan.
He's a Chad.
But yeah, that's interesting. Ooh, he might not have to leave Tatooine. You could always be Jabba the Hutt that captures Leia.
Yeah,
that's true. What I mean? Or a Hutt clan. Either way, wherever it goes, even if it stays on Tatooine for every episode, it's still going to be.
I'd still be excited.
A blast.
I think at least the first episode will be solely on Tatooine. Just a guess. I don't know. I think he's going to leave though. I mean, people take him watching over Luke for 20 years too rigidly. Like I don't think that meant that he couldn't leave the planet if an important matter came up. Like I don't think it literally meant he couldn't leave him for 5 seconds or
right, exactly,
a day or a week or whatever. So I think he can leave. But also the fact that I think it will probably explore the Force and him becoming a Force ghost. Maybe. I would love to see that. I hope it does.
I have a feeling we're going to be seeing a lot of the inside of his hut.
Mm-hmm. Oh, me too.
Which is good because that's one of the most iconic sets in Star Wars. But thematically, it also fits in with like the influence of Star Wars if it's all self-contained, like Kurosawa and spaghetti westerns, Fistful of Dollars, all that, because those were all very contained to one location, and they are classics. So there's no reason why it can't do that, and there's also no reason why it can't explore out either into other locations. Coruscant, hopefully. Yeah,
I think we'll see. I think we'll see Coruscant and Andor for sure. I feel like that's for sure.
We can talk about Andor for a second too. I don't know what it's about. Like I know
don't either.
It's going to be like a spy show.
Yeah, I think it's gonna
James Bond in space. I hope.
Yeah, I think I don't know. I really don't know. I know there's gonna be some cameos. He said there will be. He recently said that.
That's good. That would be perfect.
Probably Krennic. Probably
slot in like Rex too.
Yeah,
because in that time period.
Yeah, because that when
he was working directly with. Isn't it like right before Rogue One? Not right before, but a few years. Like just a few years. I honestly should know. The Ghost Crew.
It's the only one I haven't held. Oh yeah, I haven't kept up with Andor, so I'm not as certain. Yeah. Once we maybe we'll get a teaser or something in November. I would love to get a teaser for all these shows.
When's that special look you sent us?
The special is in November.
Okay.
For the Boba Fett.
Is it just Boba Fett?
I don't know.
You sent me like a schedule.
Right, and it wasn't clear.
It wasn't. It just said special look.
One thing said there's a Boba Fett thing, and then one thing said Star Wars special look. I don't know. But last year, that's when we got all the news about the new shows, like 10 new shows announced. So probably not going to get anything like that. But we might get some release dates. That would make me happy. Just give me... It's like I would hate for Obi-Wan to come out in like December of next year and just not know. And just
right. Let's go ahead and get Kenobi and everything, because there's a lot of other interesting shows that I want, and I hope that this special look kind of is a touch on that. They established them all last year. This year they're going to update us, hopefully. I don't care if they announce anything new.
Yeah.
If they just announce updates on the stuff they already have. Like, I do want to know about Lando. I do want to know about the Taika Waititi series. I do want to know about all that. You don't have to keep feeding me more and more stuff. I do want to know about Acolyte especially. So
yeah, I just want to know what's coming up, soon. Like
scheduling wise,
schedule. Let's give me something to like look forward to and know like. I think they will. I mean, they have to have an idea of when they're going to do it. And I don't think they're going to hold out on Kenobi, because if they're done and they're using the volume and they still have, it's only September right now.
Yeah.
They got plenty of time for post-production to put it out in March after Boba Fett. And I think that's what they should do.
Just do it. Just to keep it going. If Marvel can do it, I know Star Wars can do it. They're two of the biggest, they're probably number one, number two biggest franchises in history.
Yeah, definitely.
And if Marvel can do it, I know Disney can continually put out Star Wars stuff.
Boba is going to be a big show too, of course, but Kenobi's gonna be the biggest Disney Plus show as far as Star Wars goes. I mean, The Mandalorian was big because it was the first live action show, but this is Obi-Wan, and this has been like talked about since Disney bought Star Wars almost 10 years ago, and like it had been in the works for so long because it was going to be a movie, and like, I mean, Ewan knew about it like before The Force Awakens came out,
right?
But it just things kept changing, and the plot kept changing. One of the plots apparently was kind of similar to Force Awakens, where Obi-Wan doesn't even show up until the last episode. It's like, no, we've done that before. That would just be bad.
Absolutely not do that.
It worked really well in The Force Awakens, like surprisingly well, because you felt Luke throughout the story. It really was about Luke, or not about Luke, but he was the MacGuffin.
The MacGuffin. He was ever present in
The Force Awakens.
In a lot of the scenes, you could like, oh, I thought it was a myth. All that,
Yeah.
it's good because you keep hearing Luke Skywalker, Mac to Luke Skywalker.
Yeah.
No, you were having, all that.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, his presence was felt, and seeing him at the end of the scene was perfect. At the end of the movie was perfect.
But that movie wasn't called Luke Skywalker.
Yeah, exactly.
This is literally called Kenobi.
Exactly. So. That's different, and we've done it. So apparently, if that were true, I heard they changed writers, which was smart. That would have been bad.
They would have a solo issue.
They'd have some, a lot of stuff. Like, and man, give me the release dates, and I know they change them all the time, and they change plans and change directors.
And especially with COVID, you gotta give them that break too, because that does affect literally everything. So,
so I think, just give us some release dates, and if they change, they change. It's happened before; it'll happen again. So I think Obi-Wan's still my most hyped show for sure. But, I don't know what Boba Fett's going to be about. Obviously, Boba Fett, but
in a book. It's just going to be him reading bedtime stories to Omega the whole time.
Oh, Omega. Yeah, she might show up. I don't think she will, but...
I don't think she will either, but maybe. Here's hoping, because they could find an actress.
Yeah. Yeah, they couldn't do the voice actress.
Daniel Logan in a wig. Shout out Daniel Logan.
Hey, Daniel. I know you like some of Chip's comments. I don't think she'll show up in it. Honestly, man, I kind of forget about Bad Batch, which is a shame. Just my opinion. It's kind of underwhelming. But hopefully the next season will be better. But that's probably not going to come out. I would say if I had to guess, it'll be Boba Fett, Obi-Wan, Andor, Bad Batch, Mandalorian.
Yeah.
Next year.
Because I'm thinking... My wild theory is that, Bad Batch is going to tie into Mando a lot more.
Yeah, I think it will too.
Yeah.
I think when it was announced, they said it was like the next chapter of the Mandalorian, basically, or something to that effect, implying that it was continuing the story, but I guess it's just going to be more focused on Boba instead of Din. And we know Din's probably going to have a cameo. I think that was confirmed or semi-confirmed. I don't know. So it's so hard to keep up with these rumors and what's true and what's
people throw out anything.
It's true, and sometimes it's true, and sometimes it's not, and but it gives us a lot to talk about, and some of it's just ridiculous, and sometimes the ridiculous things turn out to be true. If I read, like reading some of the Rise of Skywalker leaks, I'm like, that's not happening, and then of course it did. I don't have anything in particular in mind, but I think mainly the Hayden not actually showing up. Like, nah, that's not happening. They're smarter than that. How did this happen? We're smarter than this.
Apparently not.
Apparently not. So Mandalorian has started filming, I believe. I'm just scrolling through some stuff right now to see if I'm missing anything. So it's supposedly filming this month or started filming. I think they're maybe at least in pre-production. If you hear vacuum, that's my girlfriend vacuuming. So hopefully it won't pick up, but it probably will. So
the vacuum of space.
Nice.
Yes,
That's the connection.
That's the connection. We're tying it in.
And the other thing, some people wonder if Boba Fett will continue with the chapter numbers from Mandalorian, like if it'll start with chapter 17.
I doubt it.
I doubt it too, but it would be interesting if like all the Disney shows going forward actually just continued. It would be interesting.
Unless they make it the Mandalorian saga.
Yeah.
Which would be
like
very
that.
cool. I would actually be down for that if they made the Mandalorian kind of like the prequel and sequel and
Yeah,
the original trilogies.
Yeah, exactly. I think it will be. I mean, there's 30 years to be explored between 6 and 7. So there's, I mean, and a lot of people think they're going to do a Heir to the Empire, like reworking the trilogy, and I think they could. They got plenty of time to work with Thrawn and while bringing in the new stuff like Ezra.
Totally forgot about the Ahsoka series and Thrawn. They got so much.
Yeah.
They got so much. Oh yeah, the casting, casting for Thrawn and Ezra. That's, man, I know we already talked about it, but man, there's so much exciting stuff going on, and it's a good time to be a Star Wars fan. It really is. I know people complain, but stop.
They're going to complain forever.
I know, exactly. Just stop. We're getting more Star Wars than we ever could have dreamed of.
And if you don't like it, then move on. That's easier said than done, because I had my opinions about Last Jedi, and I was like arguing everybody who brought it up, and then
there's been some heated Facebook debates.
Yeah, but like usually it's about how you approach things, and I think that's how it is in life. If you start off hostile, it can usually ends up that way. So if you have your opinion on Star Wars, just be nice about it, and you'll hopefully be taken more seriously and respectfully. But yeah, I'm a hypocrite. But so
Star Wars is for children, and children don't necessarily have to be children. So
yeah,
you know what I mean.
We can fight like children.
We can fight like kids. You know what I mean. So, but if you just take a step back and you look at it from a more balanced view, you'll understand there are good and bad and everything. And overall, we're all Star Wars fans. And holy cow, are we spoiled right now?
And you can, I mean, yes, I commented. One of my friends posted something, asked like. And it's like getting like philosophical, like who decides what Star Wars is and what Star Wars should be. And, I mentioned that he might come on the show, Danny. But to me, I think Star Wars it is whatever you want it to be. And he said that's a cop-out. But so Danny, if you're listening, we'll have you on the show sometime. That would actually be a fun debate because when it was George Lucas's, like when George Lucas owned it, we could say he's the one that decides.
Oh, yeah.
But now that it's been like spread out into like so many different people, and it's hard to say like what can be determined to be Star Wars and what's not. Technically, the only thing that can officially say with Star Wars is just the fact the people who officially license the official stories, like at Lucasfilm. But like what gives them the like power to do that? It's just, I mean, like we could get somebody on there who has never seen Star Wars writing a Star Wars story, and it's canon.
That's how we got the Aftermath books,
and that's why it's like, yeah.
Fanfic gone wild.
Yeah. So it's like that's that kind of thing where it's like you don't really know. That's why I say Star Wars is whatever you want it to be, because like if you don't like the sequels, just pretend they're not real. I mean, that's what it is. That's what headcanon is.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Just move on. Like I have certain things that I don't like, and I just kind of I work around it in my head. And I mean, that's what you love Star Wars when you try to come up with excuses like for like why did R2 not remember, or why did Obi-Wan not remember R2? Well, it's because the real reason is because that story wasn't written yet, and he didn't in the original movie, but it's been retconned. But that's what Star Wars fans do. We always try to come up with excuses and stuff. So
some of them actually get slotted in, and that shows to me that not that I say, oh, all hell Disney, but they're listening.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, and all the certain point of view books kind of like acknowledge that kind of stuff. So it's but like, yeah, I think I still think Star Wars is whatever you want it to be, because like what one person likes in Star Wars is completely different than someone else. Like, a lot of people's favorite is Rogue One, and for me, it's probably my least favorite. It's hard to quantify some of those. It's just, but like, there's aspects of it that they appreciate more than I do, and probably, goes the opposite for some of the movies I like. I like the fun movies. Like I like Rise of Skywalker because it's fun. Like even if it's messy, it's like I can't say I'm not having fun when I'm watching it.
Sean just wants to have fun.
Cyndi Lauper.
Annalise.
Yeah. Melissa's just saying that song a lot. But we could get into that whole philosophical debate because it does get kind of interesting because it's almost like what's the theory, the God theory, where he like basically created the earth and then he like put himself into
Deism.
the universe. Yeah. So it's kind of like that.
That's what our founding fathers were, actually.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, that is true. Most of them.
The clockwork God.
So like George Lucas is that in a way. Like he built this and then like he said, I'm passing it on to you. And now it's everybody's.
Passing it on.
Yeah. Pass on what you have learned.
It's your guys' problem now.
Yeah. I would love to.
I'm going to the ranch.
And I would love to have a discussion with him and just have dinner with him and just see if like me and my brother talked about like what kind of like we could pick like 3 people living or dead to have dinner with and like talk with. We both said George Lucas because like, and I would just love to hear what he says. But he's also one of those people that he says one thing and then does something different and then changes his mind and then so he doesn't even know necessarily what Star Wars is, quote unquote. I mean, because he changed his mind and he has changed it so many times.
All creators do.
Yeah, exactly. So
George R. R. Martin, Game of Thrones.
Oh man,
all the time. That's why he hasn't finished the book in 11 years. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it happens. And
has it been that long?
It's been 12 years actually.
Wow.
I think now, yeah. 2011. So no, maybe not quite, but so a decade.
Yeah. So it's interesting. Like, we could have a whole episode on that, but really the only thing on a technical level is just, again, Lucasfilm being that, well, we own it. And so if we say this is true,
it has his name on it.
Yeah. Well, if we own it, if we say it's true, it's true. But, nothing inherently gives them the ability to say that other than they legally own it.
There's also talk about philosophy, death of the author. You are the author. There's a theory in literature where it's like you are the author if you want to.
Yeah.
The whole God is dead thing. You make up your own reality, especially when the reality you're talking about is not reality.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what I feel. But yeah, maybe we'll do a whole episode on that sometime. But
that'd be cool. You said that's Dane?
That was Danny Davis. We were talking, but I would like Dane on the show too. I would love to
Dane
do
Yoshida all over everything. So
yeah. Shout out to Dane who not only is a Star Wars fan, but he uses my music in his TikToks. So follow him on TikTok. And,
there you go.
But he lives in California right now. But I think he might be in Macon, so maybe we have to have him over.
I'd like to get a crew of people around that are more smarter than me on music theory, not music theory, film theory, and everything like that, and just hear their opinions on it.
It'd be fun, yeah.
Because me and Sean share so many opinions that it's kind of like a funnel.
Yeah,
it's just like an echo chamber almost.
For most of the stuff.
Most of the stuff. So I'd like to get some opinions on people who know films and film theory and stuff like that, and just kind of just listen, let them talk for once.
That would be great. Yeah, we'll definitely. Yeah, if anybody's listening and wants to get on the show, if you don't live in the area, we could try to do a Zoom meeting or whatever and figure it out. I think it'd be fun to do that.
Yeah.
I'm gonna scroll over and see if I missed anything. Boba Fett trailer, probably. When do you think they'll come out?
That November date sounds about right.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, like
I hope there's a teaser before
October. I do too, but
Halloween teaser.
They do have a new PR person, and I know PR is different than marketing, but I wonder if things will change because Star Wars has been notoriously like tight-lipped with their advertising.
Yes,
and so they just
too much, in my opinion.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I appreciated it in Mandalorian season 2 because there was so much in there.
Right.
But like,
you guys, all your stuff's getting leaked anyway. So
yeah, exactly.
I mean,
everything got leaked except Luke. So I'm glad they didn't show Ahsoka and stuff. But but like, yeah, more than a month out, I think you can get away with giving a little bit more. But
so yeah, I guess to wrap up, what we got, we're going to talk about Visions next week when we get Cam back.
Yeah, we only postponed that just because we wanted to get Cam on there, and he was unavailable today. So
that'll be a fun episode. Generally, I liked it better than I thought I would. I don't know. I know you said
I binge watched it and it was late, and like I started with the ones that I knew were going to be the worst and saved the best for last. So I was kind of struggling.
And I think we're going to have some differing opinions on that. So that should be a good episode to talk about. And then we got that and the ranking our favorite scenes in each movie. So that'll be cool.
Yeah.
And then
we might do both of that on the next episode.
That'd be fun. And then coming down the track, we'll just keep our eyes open.
Yeah, we're we'll do the podcast when we have something to talk about. I mean, we could talk about anything. But
We literally had nothing to talk about tonight.
and
What? How long?
I don't
was
know
this?
how long it's been, but hopefully, if you actually listened all the way through, that we kept you and we didn't let you down. Yeah. So trailer. Beatles.
The Beatles. We have to talk about the Beatles.
I think that's about everything. Other than the actor we were talking about earlier who let things spoil. He did say he has a lightsaber. I don't know if you saw that.
I did see that. So
he's definitely he's definitely either Inquisitor or Jedi.
Maybe
Jedi.
he's the ninth Jedi.
Oh yeah, there you go. Ninth Jedi, by the way, guys. That's I think of all the Visions things could be expanded upon in the future because I think they could almost tie into that without.
I definitely want to talk
about
a lot about the ninth Jedi next week.
I'm gonna rewatch. I'm gonna rewatch the ones I really liked.
And I'm excited about hearing what everybody's favorites was and what they didn't like it. So and why? Yeah, exactly. Why we didn't like it? Because my reasons might be completely different. Just because we all are three unique individuals, even though it doesn't sound like it sometimes.
Yeah, we're all yes men. Yeah, I agree.
Jar Jar, yeah, he's good. He's good. He's the best.
Yeah, I was watching with Paige. She's like, yeah, I guess I can see why people didn't like Jar Jar at the second time. But at the same time, it's like they could have toned it down, sure, but it doesn't detract from the movie for me. But I think that's about it. Other than, I see that Ludwig is scoring Boba Fett, so that's good.
That's perfect. Continuity there. That's good.
Yeah, I think that style works really well. But yeah, we're about to head into October, so hopefully we'll be getting something within the next.
And we'll do that.
Month or so.
And Sean doesn't keep up with as much, but if there's any video game news, we can talk about that too.
Yeah, exactly.
There will be some video game news coming up, I think.
So you and Cam can keep me updated on that.
So perfect.
There is something coming out, but I've just been not reading it. Like, do you know?
Well, definitely Lego Star Wars.
But there's like some.
There's also apparently, I
else.
think Ubisoft is doing a open world game, which I'm really excited about because Assassin's Creed is probably my favorite video game series. So
that would be, I would actually probably
an Assassin Jedi kind of deal, or Assassin Sith, or Sith. That'd be so cool.
Oh yeah,
that'd be so cool. Same gameplay as Assassin's Creed. Just put a Jedi. Just literally,
even the robe would be fine. Just give him a lightsaber.
Just paint it over. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's cool. Well,
I think we've touched over everything that's happened. It's been a little bit slow, but honestly, in the grand scheme of things, like this is nothing compared to 2005 to 2012.
Right.
That was the second Dark Times. The first Dark Times we weren't alive for. That was after Return of the Jedi.
Full of the Disney Empire.
Yeah. So, so honestly, us having nothing to talk about is like nothing compared to then. So, I'm happy that we have all this stuff coming out. Yeah. But anyway, I think that's going to wrap it up for today. Hopefully we kept you entertained and you can follow our stream of consciousness. But hopefully we'll be back next week with Cam and talk about Visions. And we're probably going to talk about our favorite Star Wars scenes from each of the movies. And so until next time, may the Force be with you.
May the Force be with you.